Hello. Thanks so much for joining us. We're just going to give folks another minute to join in. We're also sort of waiting on a panelist. So thanks so much for joining us. Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. We're still waiting on another panelist, but I think we're just going to get started just so we respect folks' time and so I could get through my quick presentation. Again, thanks so much for joining us for the Social Justice at Harvard Divinity School. I want to first begin this session with a land acknowledgement. While we are in a virtual environment right now, we would like to acknowledge that we are connected right now, or Harvard Divinity School is situated on the indigenous lands of the Massachusetts and Wampanoag people. And we honor with gratitude the land itself and the people who have stewarded this land throughout the generations. My name is Margaret Okada Sheck. I'm an Associate Director of Admissions here at Harvard Divinity School, and I'm absolutely thrilled to have you all with us today. Harvard Divinity School is the first divinity school in the United States and is the most pluralistically religious, the most religiously pluralistic divinity school in the world. We educate our students in the academic study of religion in preparation for ethical leadership, religious literacy, and service-oriented, mission-driven work. Our students come from a really incredible diverse array of backgrounds. This is just a quick snapshot. As you'll see, our MTS, our two-year degree program, is our largest. This year, we welcomed 96 students to that program and 52 into our Master of Divinity program. We also recently launched our Master of Religion and Public Life program, which is our newest degree program, and we enrolled 12 students this year. Our students are coming from 46 different identify with 46 different religious traditions, which for us is really just a snapshot of the kinds of interactions, learning communities, and types of real experiences that you can have amongst your colleagues and here on campus. They hail from 121 different undergraduate institutions. And I think that this just highlights the incredible diverse array of types of academic preparation that students come with from around the country and around the world. Certainly, our students are coming from a lot of different academic backgrounds, not just in the study of religion. And you'll see both our age range. We definitely have folks that are across the adult lifespan as well, and our gender breakdown is also quite diverse. We have 4 different degree programs. Our 2 primary ones are the Master of Theological Studies, which is our 2-year degree, and our Master of Divinity, which is our 3-year full-time degree. All of our degree programs are full-time. And then our THM is really a postgraduate degree specifically for those who have a Master of Divinity or equivalent already. And as I mentioned earlier, our newest Master of Religion and Public Life which is our first 1-year full-time degree program for experienced professionals who wish to investigate the ways that religion influences public life in their specific careers or professions. Our faculty are really among the best in the world in their specific areas of study. They come from a wide variety of academic disciplines. A full 34% specialize or focus in non-Christian traditions. So our faculty really, when we are bringing students from obviously a wide range of religious traditions, and our faculty are similarly reflecting the strength of our pluralism, and we have strength in all 5 of the major world traditions. Our students are incredibly engaged folks. They are able to connect and create community through our student organizations, through special led events. We have over 500 recurring worship services and social gatherings, and ways for folks to really create community, not just in the classroom, but outside of the classroom. Our financial aid is incredibly generous. I would want to make it very clear that our financial aid is primarily or solely for the MTS and MDiv programs. That's institutional grant aid. Folks who are interested in the THM and the MRPL are eligible for federal financial aid potentially, but for us, really the focus is on our need-based. Our institutional grant aid is really focused on need-based aid for the MTS and MDiv programs. 90% of all MTS and MDiv students receive financial aid, the majority of which is need-based aid. We just had a really great session on this yesterday. That recording is going to get posted later this week, so I really recommend you folks, if you're interested in this information, please do take a look at that recording. The application for admission for entrance in fall 2022 is definitely available now. So you can go on our website and check it out. The application is pretty straightforward. The one new thing I want to point out for this year is that we are doing interviews by invitation. So folks that are interested in applying, they should know that an interview is required for this year, for entrance in fall 2022. Again, we are hosting an enormous number of different events over the course of this fall. Both me and my colleagues are hosting them in a wide variety of ways. So I really recommend that you check those out for more specific information on the application for admission and financial aid. We have lots of different ways to connect with us. If you are interested in connecting with a current HDS student, please do take out that email address to ask students. They're really great and really responsive and able to connect students and get your questions answered about what it's like to be here. The HDS admissions blog is a really, really fantastic resource. We get current students and former students writing in about all sorts of different aspects, whether it's related to admissions or student life or academic life or discernment, lots of different ways to think about it. And then finally, our Instagram channel is really, really cool. If you aren't following us yet, please do. We got really great content, and it's also a really great way to see different types of students profiled at Harvard Divinity School. So I'm absolutely thrilled to be joined today by my colleague, Melissa Bartholomew, the inaugural Associate Dean for Diversity, Inclusion, and Belonging, and an instructor in ministry. Melissa is a dear friend of mine. She is also an incredible change maker, and the impact that she has had on this community, I think, can be attested by all of us here. We're so blessed to have you here. And she will be leading us in this conversation today.
Thank you, Margaret. Thank you for that generous introduction and welcome. I'm excited to be here, and particularly to be in conversation with brilliant students, Amos and Rebecca. So I'm going to invite you to turn your camera on. And it's so wonderful to see you. Thank you for being here. And to tell you all those who are listening, because I know these panelists personally, I can assure you that you're in for a treat. These students are brilliant, and they are deeply committed in their commitment to social justice. So they have much wisdom to share. So let's get started. Amos and Rebecca, I want to invite you to share your name, share your degree program, where you are in the program, and any aspect of your identity that you're comfortable with, including your pronouns. So who would like to begin?
I saw that Zoom gesture. We got good at Zoom school last year. My name is Rebecca Mendoza-Nunziato. I take the she series of pronouns, and I'm a Chicana, born and raised here or in Colorado, and moved out here this last year. And I actually am an MTS in process of transitioning to MDiv, so I can speak a little bit about both of those worlds.
Hi, everyone. My name is Amos Jackson III, second year MTS student with the concentration in religion, ethics, and politics. I'm from West Palm Beach, Florida, and I'm the inverse of what Rebecca is doing. I just transitioned into the MTS program. And I'm a graduate of Howard University in Washington, D.C., and I've been living in D.C. Since graduation, so I've been here for 6 years.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I'm so excited to have both of you here. Let's just jump into our conversation. You're here because of your strong commitment to social justice. Can you say a little bit about your particular social justice interests and your focus, and then talk about the work specifically that you're involved in at HDS?
Thank you so much, Dean Melissa, for that question.
Amos, if I could, before you get started, we're grateful to be joined by Reverend Erica Williams. So Reverend Erica, if you are with us and able to turn your camera on, you're just in time. We just finished our introductions.
Well, I know there's some evil forces that don't want me to be here, so I'm glad I made it here anyhow.
Yeah.
And if the host could disable my video, that would be great. Good afternoon, everybody. It is such an honor and pleasure to be here with all of you, and I am so excited to be on this panel with my dear co-laborers in this work, Rebecca and Amos, and with you, Dean Bartholomew.
Reverend Erica Williams, we are grateful that you have joined us, and I'm just grateful that you overcame the technical difficulties, because we need your voice and we need your presence. So you can just start while the screen is being disabled, hopefully. Just start by sharing your name, your program, and any aspect of your identity that you want to share, including your pronouns.
Well, yes, my name is Erica Williams, and I am a native of Saginaw, Michigan. And my pronouns are she, her, hers. And I am unapologetically Black. And I am definitely excited to be a part of the inaugural cohort for the Masters in Religion and Public Life program here at Harvard Divinity School. And so I come bringing a list of ancestors throughout the freedom struggle to help do the work of spirituality and social transformation. So really excited to be with all of you today.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Erica. And Amos was just about to kick off the conversation with the first question. And that question is, you're familiar with the question already. You're here because of your strong commitment to social justice. So you're going to talk a little bit about your particular social justice interests and focus and the work that you are engaged in or hope to be engaged in HDS. So Amos, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Reverend Erica, it's good to see you and it's good to be in space with you as always. Yeah, I believe in a theology of a liberation theology that teaches me from Isaiah 1:17, learn to do good, seek justice, and correct oppression. And that's what led me to HDS. That's what drives the work that I do. Contrary to a lot of what my other cohort members in my degree program have a strong background in religious studies and the study of religious philosophy. I come from a political background. I come from a background that has been with a degree in political science and working in all levels of government, but also a strong belief in my faith and my gospel that I live out every day. And that's the work that I do, and I take that understanding to the work that I do at Harvard as well. And so I am a member of the Racial Justice and Healing Committee with Dean Bartholomew, where we work on a common read that we do for the school and engage in discussions about how we can dismantle and reimagine an inclusive Harvard Divinity School. I'm also a proud member of the Harambe Student Association, which is the Student Association for Students of African Descent, and where we also do that work. And so that's what I'm involved in at Harvard Divinity School, with that foundation of social justice and liberation theology, and my desire to be impactful in political circles to be able to bring about change and dismantle injustice for everyone.
Beautiful, Amos. Thank you. Thank you so much for setting the stage. And let's pass it on to Rebecca. Let's hear from you, Rebecca, and then we'll hear from Erica.
Yeah. So glad to be here with all of you. I think to answer this first question is really to say that my work is driven by pursuit of decolonization, and in tandem with that, indigenization and rethinking about the ways that we can heal a lot of the really big, hard, heavy wounds that we carry on this land in this country, coming from both settler and indigenous backgrounds. I'm involved here in a few different spaces, particularly working with Melissa in the Committee for Diversity and Inclusion, and also across campus with the graduate students who identify as Latinx, and most recently with the Harvard University Native American program. We're also working towards some Indigenous language acquisition and reclamation projects. We just started a group here at HDS to learn Nahuatl, which is a Mexican Indigenous language. And I think all of that is kind of codified in the way that we meet and gather here at HDS. And then there's so many things kind of at the edges and margins that don't have names or labels or, fall into a CV necessarily, but are forms of resistance and forms of collaboration and collective healing, and doing that work in very deeply spiritual and also deeply academic ways, and all the ways that those overlap. So that's my little spiel. Passing on to you, Reverend Erica.
Well, let me just say, Rebecca, there was nothing little about that. Thank you. Thank you for what you just shared. Both of you just beautifully illustrate what we do at HDS. And Erica, we're looking forward to hearing from you.
Thank you. And I concur that it is definitely such an honor to become a member of this HDS family, which I've only been in for about a month now. And so I'm still getting acclimated with everything, but already I'm, grateful to have joined the Harambe family, along with working with some other sisters to bring forth a womanist book club to bring the experiences and stories of Black women to the HDS community. But before HDS, HDS. What brought me to HDS was being a national organizer with the Poor People's Campaign, a national call for more revival. And so I bring communities from all across this country who are deeply impoverished. We did an audit on America called The Souls of Poor Folks, America from 1967 to current. And what we found were there are 140 million poor, low-income kinfolk in this nation. And so what we know is that we live in the richest country in the world. And as Brother Tupac, who I think was a theologian, said, we got money for wars, but can't feed the poor. I realize that this work of social justice is not just connected to HDS, but it is a global struggle. And so I bring various communities from here in the US and across the globe to this space. And I carry them in my heart with me as I come to learn more and to gain the tools needed to dismantle these systems of oppression.
I mean, I'm gonna try to keep myself contained. Each of you just have shared so much, so powerfully. And Eric, I'm just gonna follow up with you with this next question, because you've talked about your work with the Poor People's Campaign. I love hearing about the souls of poor folk and all the work, the lineage that you hail from. What led you to HDS? Why HDS is a site for further exploration and deepening of your work?
Well, I think if you want to know about the master's house, you come to the master's table. And so I think I needed to come to Harvard Divinity School because this is the home that has created theologians, scholars, practitioners throughout history. And so I wanted to come to learn from the best and the brightest, and to know exactly these theories and methods that have been created over time. And so I don't think that I was, necessarily the person. I didn't think of Harvard in the beginning, but I believe that the ancestors and those in my community saw this as a space for the rich intellectual rigor that I need to undergo for me to come to Harvard. And so when this program for the Masters in Religion and Public Life program opened up, I said, well, ancestors, is this where we're supposed to go? And I said, if I get accepted, this is where we're going. And so I believe, and I know fully, even as I have been here this last month, that this is the place, because I'm meeting folks like Amos and Rebecca, and even from you, Dean Bartholomew, and so many other people from so many rich traditions who are allowing me to have different perspectives and to learn more, because I know that this struggle that we are in, it is definitely intersectional. And not only is it intersectional, it's interconnected. And so I'm grateful to now be interconnected with so many brilliant minds here at HDS that I wouldn't have the experience if I was to possibly go to some other spaces. So HDS is one of a kind. And it is definitely, I believe, the best and brightest place to come and to engage with others who are questioning and wrestling with this idea of social justice.
Beautiful, beautiful. And it's wonderful that you can say that with authority, even after just a month or two. So it's powerful. Amos, what about you? What brought you to this particular site to do your work?
Yeah, I attended DivX in 2018, and so this is my plug for anybody that hasn't applied for DivX. I think the application is closed for 2021, but for 2022 and here thereafter, if you are a current college student and want to get a little insight into what we do at Harvard Divinity School, the Diversity and Explorations program is a great opportunity to see up and close and personal what Reverend Erica was discussing about what we do at HDS, and as people of diverse backgrounds come together for one common goal. But what led me to HDS was many people were concerned, like, why aren't you going to law school? Why aren't you going to business school? Why aren't, with this background that you have, why aren't you doing that? And my answer was that while law may focus on the jurisprudence and the justice in that way, where business school may focus on the economic struggles or how do we establish or rethink our capitalistic society, Divinity School allows for us to study the healing and allows us to study the individual in a country where we live in now, where it's very tribal, where people come and show up with all their different identities, many of which come from their moral, ethical, and or absence or presence of their religious traditions. And it's important and imperative for us to be able to study that and know how that impacts the policies that we create, the political and social change that we try to enact, and also how we develop and educate our children and the people that are coming up after us. And that's why I chose HDS, not only because it allows me to study that work, but it also allows me to be at the best place to be able to engage in all of those studies with the different schools and opportunities that HDS provides our academic degree programs to do. So if you want to take classes at the law school, if you want to focus on how social justice and religious freedom may impact our country, you have the law school. If you want to focus on the economic impacts, you can take classes at the business school. If you want to go deeper into government and education, you have the education school and the Kennedy School. And so those opportunities is what led me to HDS. And also to be in a place that's pluralistic. Coming from a Black Southern Baptist family and faith tradition, you wanted me to go to a seminary, wanted me to go to a more Christian-centric place. But in order to be able to spread the gospel in a way that I believe it should be spread, and also be able to live and work and breathe in this space that we live in, you have to understand how other people live as well. Because we can't do this work of social justice alone. And it's not just a Christian walk. It's not just a walk that we just do with our own faith tradition. It takes everybody. It takes multiple hands. It takes multiple ideas and multiple faith traditions to do that work. And I believe that Harvard Divinity School has provided me with that. Even though the first year was virtual, we were still able to get a lot of work done. And I'm excited to be able to do more of that work now in person with my classmates and faculty and staff that I engage with every day.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Amos. And Rebecca, what brought you here to this space?
Yeah, thank you both. You know, when I read this question, I realized that the most honest answer is I don't really know. I don't know. I think, and that's so much part of making these big decisions and choosing where we go to school and if we go to school. And I spent 6 years after undergrad working in community development and community organizing, and just knew that I needed to get back into the academy. And, you know, I think like Erica said, this is a hub. It's a place where people come. It's a place where, you know, for folks who are working on the front lines or working in organizing, like sometimes it feels like you don't get to stop and really ask these questions and get to the root of some of these really big problems that we're facing and feeling and experiencing. And the privilege and the resources of being at Harvard and Harvard Divinity School means that for a second we can stop and be together in a different way with a different, still a sense of urgency, but a different kind of way of being, a different sort of embodiment to that. I get to read the things that I never got to read or learn in undergrad or before, or even having access to a library like this. Like those are just things that I didn't have access to, I didn't have time for, and I didn't have resources for while I was doing my work in Denver. And so all of those things combined with a deep desire to figure out what does it mean to do decolonial work in settings where there is desire for that, but the structures continue to uphold all of the problematic legacies of the past. And so really learning what it means to get at the edges, to resist, to be fully myself in the ways that I'm able to in these classrooms, and to find other folks who are doing this resistance work, this decolonial work, this anti-oppressive work, and to become family and to become comrades and to really put up the fight together. So I think that's been some of the reasons that I didn't even know when I signed up to come here would be so nourishing for me.
Thank you, Rebecca. What you all have shared really illustrates the dynamic and the diverse container that HDS is. It's not one thing. It's not for just one person. It's such a beautiful, eclectic mixture of people who are coming with similar intentions, but different ways of knowing and being and seeing and doing, but wanting to be in the mix together. And it's wonderful. The last couple questions that you all were prepared for, because of our time, I want to just kind of offer them together and then allow you to just share any aspect of the question that you want, any response to the two questions together. So the two questions are, how does your social justice project intersect with your academic pursuits? And then how has your social justice work impacted your trajectory and influenced your plans for what you hope to do after HDS? So how, you know, and of course, Erica, you just started, so, but you, I'm sure, can speak to, you know, just your initial thoughts about how you're integrating your social justice work and your academic pursuits. What's that been like? And then how is it shaping already your trajectory for the future? So Amos.
Thank you. It's impacting my work every single day through being able to show up into my courses, my classes, and be a voice of this this work in discussions. That's one. Number two, it allows me to, as I mentioned before, the Racial Justice and Healing Committee that we have at Harvard Divinity School allows not only to intersect with my academic pursuits, but the space that I call home now, which is Harvard Divinity School. It allows us to study the work or the lack thereof that we've been doing as an institution and how we can improve it and make it better for those that come after us. Oftentimes that many people come to institutions and schools and they attend, get the degree, and they go on and do what they do in life. But it's important and imperative that when we are in a space and we may acknowledge things that may make us uncomfortable or things that may be able to be improved, that we do the work to make that happen. And that's what I believe that social justice calls us to do, is to do it right then and there, because there's no better place than to do it than right now. And how has it impacted the trajectory and influence of my plan so far? As someone that's still working full time and doing Divinity School, it's happening as I speak. Being able to take what I learned in the classroom and apply it to meetings and apply it to policies or press releases or work that we do as an organization is helping and revitalizing what I do every single day. And so it allows me to take what I'm doing at work and to bring it to the classroom, and take what I'm doing in the classroom and bring it to work, and see how the two intersect. In my application to Harvard Divinity School, I talked about the intersection of religion and politics, and that's what like my yearning desire was from a young child, of like, why do these politicians show up to church? Why do they quote scripture and quote religious texts in order to connect with people? And that's why I set out on this journey, to understand that at HDS and to bring it into my work every single day, because it's not just one thing to quote it and to speak it, but it's another thing to put it into practice. And that's the work that I do every day, is trying to put the words and the meditations of our heart that we may have on paper and in the work that we do every single day. So that's me.
Beautiful. Thank you. Amen. I love putting the meditations of our hearts onto the paper. That's powerful, powerful. And I want to go to you, Rebecca, and close with you, Reverend Williams. Rebecca.
Yeah, so my plans are to hopefully pursue doctoral work and to continue to bring some of these questions and conversations of decolonial spirituality into higher ed. And I would say that being here and the work that I'm doing at HDS and beyond is really pushing me. It's really pushing me to challenge my categories, to challenge my assumptions. You know, I think as happens to most folks, you come in with an idea of what you're going to do, and then you let it hit you. You let all the experiences and people and insights and the land and the moments in between the classes, they hit you and they change you, and allowing that transformation to happen. And part of switching to the MDiv for me was a recognition that that because HDS offers these two paths, that my academic work now and in the future doesn't have to be solely located within my head. It never was for me, but that is how often the academy enforces kind of the approach, right? We think things, we write things, we read things, and bringing that into the MDiv space where there's more embodiment and more direct engagement with relationality and with the ways that we show up as relatives to one another and to plants and animals and to the broader world and community. And so being here is allowing me to connect a lot of dots, to make a lot of sense of of what my ancestors already knew that has been lost and that I needed to relearn. And so through archaeology courses and art history courses and, theological and religious studies courses, I'm getting to reclaim some of the things that have been lost. And that's, I think, a beautiful and surprising event in my time here at HDS.
Thank you, Rebecca. And I love what you've shared, because you have shared how this environment gives you the space to breathe and to explore and to recalibrate and just do what you need to do. And that's what an educational environment should be. So thank you for sharing that. And finally, Reverend Erica.
Yeah, so I follow that brown brother from Africa named Yeshua, who, when he stepped on the scene, he said, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, for he has anointed me to preach good news to the poor, to the house of Bethany, the Protokos, those made poor by society, to heal the brokenhearted and to set the captive free, and to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord now," which meant the Jubilee, the canceling of all debts. And he closed the book and he said, "The scripture has been fulfilled in your hearing today." They said, "Well, only the Messiah could say it." He said, "Well, I am he, and I'm here to set this thing off." And so I come here to HDS. I come here to set this thing off. I've set it off in the public square, and now I need to set it off in the classroom. And so that's what I'm doing while I'm here for this year at HDS. I'm coming here to learn more, one, but to also to challenge the structures, you said it, Rebecca, that are still being upheld in the places of the academy and other places, to shed light on these various issues. As I said earlier, I've seen a lot throughout this nation. And that is one of the things I'm very, very, very clear on, is that the things that we're seeing is not just tied to Christianity, it's through every religion, it's through every creed, whatever we ascribe to. What we're seeing is not left or right, it's just morally wrong. As my grandma would say, it's just wrong. And so I'm here to be able to allow myself that time to learn and to study and to do as Christ did, to set this thing off. And so being in the classes are allowing me that opportunity to gain the fuel that I need to fan the flame in society to do the work of social justice. And so that is how I'm bringing them all together. I bring my revolutionary hat from that African Messiah. And I also bring my heart and my mind through the lineage of my ancestors, who were ones who were intellectual, but they didn't have the opportunity to attend a Harvard University. I think about Fannie Lou Hamer, who her 104th birthday was just yesterday. And this woman was a voice that could shake and stir. She did, the nation. But if she would have had the opportunity to attend Harvard, oh my, what would we have seen from Fannie Lou? So she's not here in the physical, but I am. And so I'm going to continue the work that she did, and so many others, especially the voices of Black women. So I'm bringing those voices and that revolutionary redeemer together to make a powerful force in taking this work of justice to the nations.
Well, amen. Amen. The flame is already powerful, Reverend Williams. So, I mean, we all need to get ready, because by the time you're done this year, it's going to be something else. I'm so grateful. The ancestors are here. You have called them all in. Sister Fannie Lou and all the ancestors, the indigenous, those who are indigenous to this land, those who we have been summoned to be here to do this work. We are called. And as you have heard from each of these brilliant students, this is a response to a call, a response to a sense of urgency to become better equipped to do the work that we've been called to do in the world. And I can say, as one who also came through Harvard Divinity School, I was a student in 2015 through 2000. I graduated in 2015 with my Master's of Divinity from HDS, and came to this environment for the reasons similar to what you have heard today. And so I can attest that it's the environment where you will be able to bring your full self and explore and deepen the work that you've been called to do. So I'm grateful for this conversation to each of you, and I'll turn it back over now, I believe, to Margaret, who will lead some Q&A. Is that right, Margaret? Or am I to look at the Q&A myself? Let me just see. I've seen a.
You can You can go ahead and moderate. First of all, thank you all so much. Your stories are just so remarkable, and I'm really honored to be here to listen to them. Melissa, you can go ahead and moderate the Q&A yourself. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank you. There's one question that came through, and I'll offer it to the students. The question is, how does social justice extend to the study of animals at HDS? And are there any field education programs focused on animal care? So who'd like to take that one? Thank you.
Eric is looking at me because this is something I'm exploring, and I think Umehane is and has talked to me one-on-one, and we can keep talking, which I'm excited for. But yeah, so there's a few different animal courses at HDS. A few of them are kind of located within certain traditions. So one I'm taking right now is from a Buddhist perspective, but I believe last year Taryn Savea offered one from a Muslim perspective, I believe. I don't want to misspeak, but yeah, there's some things happening. I would definitely say it is kind of an edge. It's kind of a place of growth, and I think that that's actually a place where we need more scholars who are thinking about really questioning our category of the human-animal divide. And I would say that there's some really fascinating Indigenous scholars here that are also bringing that conversation in, not necessarily from a religious studies perspective, but as most of us know, the category of religion as it pertains to indigeneity is a sort of moot point in the sense that we don't need the word religion to help us understand what is spiritual about life, or how the world is sacred and valuable and worthy. So I think all that to say, come and create it with us. Come in, let's figure out a path for it. And that is one of the things that HDS does offer, is the freedom to find that path, and resources here and beyond to figure that out. So that's what I've got.
Thank you, Rebecca. Any other responses to that particular question? While you're thinking about that, there's another question that just came in. I think can you all see the questions? Let me just see real quickly. So I'm going to thank you so much for this question. And this person attended a conversation I was a part of this past Monday, the weather reports with Terry Tempest Williams, and as asking a question connected to conversation that came up in that conversation. We were talking about the panelists, people I was in conversation with were talking about astral body and how your physical body is catching up with our spiritual body and intention. And this person's wondering, how can we evaluate ourselves to make sure our actions are catching up with our thoughts regarding the progress of social justice in our respective community? It's a powerful question. And I'm curious to see if our panelists have any thoughts about that before I weigh in. Any thoughts, Rebecca or Reverend Williams or Amos? Do you understand the question?
Yeah, so if I am hearing this correctly, in terms of how are our bodies catching up with, our thoughts and the things that we are thinking concerning this work of social justice. And so I have to be, very honest. I said earlier, I'm from Saginaw, Michigan, which is right next door to Flint, Michigan. And it is 7 years since family members have drank clean water. I don't care about what the news says about, the water crisis was over. I don't even care if President Obama came and drank a glass of water. It wasn't over because they have not fixed the pipes there in that area. And so for the last 7+ years or so, we've been still fighting for this crisis. And so there's a lot of thoughts that I've had concerning that. And honestly, it was a lot of stress and strain on my body. Like honestly, you all can't see me right now. And I actually look real good now because I have, gotten myself together and been working on my body. But I'll be honest to say, for the last few years, I have been wore out and tired. And so this opportunity to come to HDS, which I have deemed this year as a spiritual sabbatical, is allowing me the space to process all of the trauma and all of the things that I have witnessed throughout this country and around the globe these last 7+ years. And so I feel like just now I've been able to come in this space now, and Dean Bartholomew can attest, I've been able to breathe. I've been able to exhale. I've even been able to shed tears that I was holding back for many years. And so I don't know if this really gets to the point, but I would say when you allow yourself the space to come and to study and to learn, it will allow for your body, your mind, and your spirit. It would allow for you to come into alignment if you let it, because it'll give you an opportunity to take a step back from the things that you are working with and to be able to see it from a different perspective. And so that's why I think I'm so excited for just being here for a month, what I've already witnessed. So I'm just expecting for this process to continue to unfold, because now I feel that I have even returned home to my body, because for the last few years I've been absent because I've been present on the front line.
Yeah, I wanted to add to that, Erica, that I think there's an invitation in what you're saying to almost let our thoughts and our spirituality catch up with our action to live out these values, and then to find ways to build in the thoughts and the spirituality that arises out of the presence, the being present, the being proximate, the being active in our social justice work. So I appreciate the way that you flipped that question. And I think in many ways, academia sometimes wants us to think things out before we act. So I appreciate that there can be two pathways into action.
Beautiful, beautiful. Amos, any thoughts, any wisdom to share?
I would just pick up on that and just say that being in academic study allows what Reverend Erica and Rebecca was mentioning, because for me, as a commuter student, when I come to HDS every week, it resets my whole week. It resets my body, it resets my spirit, it resets my mind, and allows me to come to a place that's very treacherous and very difficult, which is Washington, D.C. It's very rigorous. But when I come to Cambridge and I come to Boston and I step foot on HDS, as Reverend Erica said, I can breathe. And although the readings and the assignments may be overwhelming, I know that I am fueling myself for the work that lies ahead when I get back on the other side of that plane and of my week. And so it allows me to enter into a space where, as the Bible says, I can enter into a Selah period where I can just let the Spirit just work through me in my work and give me the discernment and the guidance to come back to the spaces that I occupy. And bring that with me. And so I'm grateful that my thoughts and my actions are made manifest in the academic classroom. That gives me the tools to be able to stir it up in a way that, to paraphrase Reverend Erica, to set it off in every aspect of life that I encounter thereafter.
Thank you, thank you. I selfishly wanted to just hear from you all, because I knew that you would bring such wisdom to that question. I hope it satisfied the person who asked the question. And I don't have much to add because it was so beautifully answered, but I think I'll just say, it sounds like the kernel of the question, what you're amplifying is this question of alignment. How are we staying in alignment with what our thoughts are, what our actions are, and with what the divinity is calling us to, spirits. And I always remind people about where we are. We are at Divinity School, and it's a place where we can engage in that question of divinity from various entry points. But I want us to, I encourage us to lean into that and to lean in and to harness, the resources that divinity gives to us. So I hear in that question this commitment to being in alignment to spirits, to divinity, love, whatever way you want to frame it, so that we are walking the walk that we're supposed to walk, connected and fully present and integrated, mind, body, soul, spirits, rooted in love. So thank you for that question. Margaret, I'll turn it back over to you.
Well, seems like that's all the questions that we've had. I want to say thank you to the participants, the panelists, I mean, and Dean Bartholomew. Name is Reverend Erica. Thank you all so much for your time and for your perspectives and voices. I'm so grateful to be in the same community as you. To our attendees, this is just one of many events that we're hosting this fall. We are recording these, so we'll be posting them later and be sending out the recording as well to registrants. Thank you all so very, very much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and week. Bye.